Hey guys, it is good to be back. I hope that you guys have been doing well. It has been quite a year. A lot has happened. I'm going to be talking about something that the Lord has been showing me the last couple of weeks. He is really trying to just get his body prepared, and he wants us to get in position with him. He wants us to get in position because he is absolutely reviving dead dreams. He is reviving dead dreams. And, he always starts with me talking about like putting his finger on stuff where I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay. Time of year where we are all thinking about how to prepare for the next season, what to do. Hopefully you're praying into it. Hopefully you're asking God for how to move forward and how to navigate this next year. I know how it feels to have stuff that you have been wanting, having faith for, praying for, wanting to see happen and materialize and manifest in your life, and nothing has occurred. It's like, what's going on with this, And so maybe you're someone, you have been wanting to open up some sort of business, have a home, have enough money to invest in certain things, maybe pay off debt. Maybe some things that you've never even spoken out to anyone before, but they have been things where you have waited and waited and waited and waited and nothing has happened. And I know how that feels. And so when he came to me and started talking to me about this, I was like, okay, what do I need to do? Because preparation is necessary for him to be able to revitalize those dreams. So I'm just going to give you a quick little background snapshot. I was actually reading a certain story in the Bible when the Lord started talking to me about this. And the Bible talks about how this woman saw this prophet come to town, and he would come to town on a regular basis, but she discerned that not only was he a man of God and a prophet, but that she really needed to build a room onto her house so that he had some place to stay every time he was coming through town. And so that's what she told her husband that she wanted to do. Well, what happened was that the prophet wanted to make sure that he did something for her. And when he asked her what she wanted, she was like, you know what? I'm good. I don't really need anything. And he was like, well, do you want me to go to the king for you? And she's like, no, I'm fine. I'm amongst my own people, so I'm good. And so finally, later on, the prophet Elisha was talking to his servant, and his servant said, you know what? She might not need anything, but she's never had any children, and her husband is old. So what happens the next time the prophet goes to see this woman? He's like, by this time next year, you will be holding a son. So her response to him is what really got me. Every time I read it, it was just something about her response to him that I was like, And God was talking to me about something completely different when this came up. Her response to him was, no, my Lord, O man of God, do not lie to your maidservant. Now, that response is not the response of some woman who has never wanted a child. That response is not the response of a woman who never thought about having a child, who didn't think that she was going to be a mother. That response is the response of a woman who thought that she would have a child but had so much disappointment, had so much delay, had so much distress around it that she let that dream die. She let it die. As we already know, we heard what the servant told Elisha. Her husband is old. So basically she was like, you know what? This thing is just not going to happen. Let me just keep it moving, live my life, try to enjoy my life, and do my life the best I can. But that was not what happened. She got exactly what Elisha said she would by the next year. He wants to resurrect some dead dreams. Will you let him. Like you, I have been there. I have gone through this. There are things that I'm like, you know what? Let's just put those things to the back, leave them alone, keep it moving. But God is saying, will you let me revitalize and resurrect those dead dreams? And so there are some things that we can do to align ourselves, because that's the first thing. In order for God to be able to do certain things in our lives, we have to be prepared for them when they come. It's too late to prepare when it happens. We have to be prepared. And you know, one of the things one of the examples that we know about, any woman who has ever had a child or been around other women who've had children or whatnot, know that before a child comes, the woman always does something that they have termed as nesting. They always prepare. They're always doing that. Well, in the same way, regardless of what it is that you are wanting or that you are believing that the Lord is talking to you about reviving those dead dreams, he is like, listen, you got to partner with me and prepare. You got to do something. Something has to be done. And so how do we do this? The first thing that we do is we are obedient to his promptings. We have to be obedient to his promptings, because when we are obedient, like the woman was, and just do whatever he tells us to do, then we are positioning ourselves in alignment with him. There weren't a lot of people who were building rooms on the side of their homes for a profit, but she did it because she knew that's what the Lord wanted her to do. What will you do to make sure that you are aligned with what God wants you to do? Just obey him. No matter if it makes sense or not, just obey the promptings of the Lord. That's the first thing. Obey the promptings of the Lord. Help, give, and do as he tells you. Trust that he is guiding and leading you in the direction that you should go. Proverbs 3:5, it just came to me. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not to your own understanding. Do not lean to your understanding as you are following suit with what he is guiding you to do. Now, there's also, number 2, practical preparation. If you know that the Lord has called you to be a doctor or a dentist or a vet or something where you know that you are going to need training or schooling or something, then obviously you know you need to do what is practical to prepare. You need to take the test. You need to study for the MCAT or whatever you're going for. If you know that God has called you to be an attorney and everything has been blocking you and stopping you, whatever it is that the Lord is putting his finger on for you in this season of your life that has been dead, that you have been like, it's over, it's not going to happen. If there is some practical preparation that you need to do, do it. Just do it. Follow suit and do it. The third thing is to keep that thing that he has put his finger on, that he wants to revive and resuscitate, that dead thing. Keep that before you. Keep it before you in what you are thinking about. Keep it before you in what you are praying about. Even if you can have a visual of it. You know, if there is something with you where you're like, hey, I've given up. It ain't happening. I'm not going to lose these last 50 pounds, or I guess I'll always be this size. Whatever those dead dreams are for you, make sure that you are keeping that thing before you, that you are journaling about it, that you are writing about it, that you are talking about it to the Lord, that you are really making sure that your focus is on it, because you need to keep that image, that vision of where he is going to take you. You need to keep that in your mind's eye so that you can have a focal point. The last thing is trusting God, trusting his timing, trusting how he's going to do it. We don't know how he's going to do what he's going to do. Again, Proverbs 3:5, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. It is such a huge part of this, him revitalizing dead things, because he always in my life comes If I'm expecting him to come through the front door, he comes through the side window on the other side of the house. It's like, wait a minute, how did this even happen? He always comes in a way that we would never expect. And so don't spend your time trying to set up parameters and think about how it's going to happen or the way that it's going to happen, because I can guarantee you it's not going to happen a way that you think. It never has for me, ever. Ever, 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 ever. And so even for this woman who gave up that whole dream of being a mom, she never thought that her building that room onto her house would lead to a child. She wasn't even thinking about it. In fact, she didn't want anything. She wasn't asking for money. She wasn't asking for land. She wasn't asking for favor. It was the furthest thing from her mind. But guess what? That's how God did it. And so, again, obey. Do the practical preparation that you might need to do. Trust God and keep your focus on that thing that He has touched, that you need to be focused on in this season. That thing that He wants to revitalize in your life. So, again, God wants to revitalize and resuscitate dead dreams. Will you let Him? Okay, I hope you will. I am doing the same thing, you guys. So, if this blessed you, please give me a comment, thumbs up, whatever. But I'm glad to be back. Glad to see y'all, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.